Yeah. I'm still at that place. What place you're calling it? Obviously not finding the One Piece, but the place that I'm talking about is the place of I am confusion.
Confusion.
Okay, so I'm less confusion than I was last week, but I'm still confusion.
Explain, what do you mean in Arkansas?
Because I'm still as hyped as I was, and I've watched numerous videos. I've talked to so many people, even people that I haven't talked to in a long time, but I've talked to so many people about the chapter and about One Piece and Joyboy that now, you know, it's like a constant thing that's on my mind. So today I just want to update you guys as to where I am mentally with this Joyboy thing, and I know the spoilers will be coming out soon, and so I want to avoid social media as much as possible. Yes, I will be continuing to upload, but I will be avoiding the comment section like a plague because I do not want to be spoiling this chapter. I believe it's going to be a big one, like a really big one. The chapter I'm talking about. Anyway, One Piece chapter 1043 what the hell? One Piece chapter 1043 left us off with just Luffy smiling and he's a gabagoo. Now I have to, we collectively as a unit have had to figure out what is going on, what's taking place here. And I've had, again, numerous conversations with so many people. And so here's where my mind is. I think for us to figure out exactly what Luffy is, the first step is understanding the history. I know you guys thought something else was coming, but no, that's too easy. That's way too easy. We have to understand the history, okay? Quick refresher with Joyboy. He's someone from 800 years in the past, and for the most part, we know of his connection to Fishman Island based on Apologlyphs and Nico Robin's conversation with Neptune, King Neptune. What we are aware of, right, is that he was friends with Zunisha. I mean, a lot of people are friends with a giant walking elephant that was destined to walk or punished to walk, right? And he was his Nakama, but also he's connected to Fishman Island. He had something that he wanted to accomplish. Of course, the Noah plays a part here, but he failed to do so. But it seems like he couldn't, and he wrote a letter apologizing, and therefore that set in motion so many different events, we're assuming. But now he's back, right? The Drums of Liberation, you guys have heard the Bink Sake comparison, you've seen the text, the dialogue. Where does that leave us? Well, the conversation now revolves around this Joyboy character and what Joyboy means to Luffy, what Joyboy means to the story. How I'm looking at it now, I'm thinking that Joyboy is a title. Right? I feel like Joyboy is definitely a title. It's not a person per se. It is a title bestowed upon a certain individual. And I'm starting to think that destiny and fate, they're so closely tied and aligned, but it doesn't really conflict with the theme of One Piece, which for the most part is freedom. And that's what our main character Luffy is trying to achieve, trying to find, which, you know, I'm always skeptical about that because what does it mean to be free? Oda does touch on these things loosely with Whitebeard and Odin, right? He talked about freedom, and for Odin, freedom was leaving Wano, and for Whitebeard, freedom was not being chased by the Marines every single day. So for Odin, he wanted to get out of Wano. For Whitebeard, he's like, man, I wish I had somewhere where the world government could not get to me so I didn't have to deal with them all the time, right? So freedom is somewhat relative, but for the most part, we understand what freedom means, not being enslaved, etc., etc. A conversation I've had with people as well is that, you know, back in the day, the world government, maybe they had a noble cause, right? Who knows how the ancient kingdom was? I'm sure they weren't all just, because even today in the current system in One Piece, slavery has technically been abolished for everyone except the celestial dragons. So slavery was a thing back then. So maybe they had a noble cause. Maybe they had plans to make a better world. But of course, over time, power corrupts people. So inevitably, it's almost like it's a cycle, right? This is not Naruto. So I don't want to bring up Naruto, but Luffy probably is the person that will break the wheel. To keep things on task though, Joyboy, this person had a mission, right? And I think back then, the people that were in power, they were abreast or they were in the middle of the war, and they set things in motion to preserve their history, right? The Poneglyphs, Wano, Zunisha could be a part of that. And so Joyboy was the person that was supposed to bring all of this together. Now, how does Toki tie in? Toki's a part of this legacy because Toki, she jumped 800 years into the future, right? She was trying to find something, find the time when things would change, but then she stumbled into Odin. Odin did tell her, jump 20 years into the future. That's when things are going to really start getting crazy. Toki said, well, you know what? Don't say that again to me. That's crazy. She also mentioned that she jumped running away, and when she found Odin, she felt like she's already reached her destination, which, you know, fate and destiny, man, it's such an interesting concept because it's kind of like the chicken or the egg, right? I'm thinking about, okay, were these things going to happen or were they destined to happen? Is this part of your fate? Which again, I think fate and destiny, they're so closely tied, but they are not the exact same thing. Here's the thing, right? Fate is concrete. It is determined by a higher power. Destiny depends on your choices in life. So as much as your fate is set in stone. Your destiny's based on your choices. So to make this less complicated, right? Luffy, for example, his fate. If fate is the driving force behind this, we're saying that Luffy, basically for his current situation, external circumstances dictated where he is now. It's dictated and controlled his life. Everything he's done is based on fate, which I don't think that's what it is. I think Luffy is the destined child, where destiny is much more widely accepted, but it's confusing because destiny, being destined for greatness, comes through active and conscious decisions. So Luffy, even though he's been destined for greatness, he would not have gotten there without his conscious decisions to overcome every single obstacle. So again, I take you to chapter 96, where we have a conversation between Makino and Whoopslap, our favorite character, Whoopslap. And the conversation revolves around Luffy. He's now become a wanted criminal, and Makino is talking to Whoopslap saying, well, Whoopslap says, you know, what's the great deal about having a criminal being a part of your village or being known to be from your village? And how Makino says it, how she positions it based on what we know is intriguing, because she says, look how happy he is, right? A pirate's pirate, but it was his dream. Are you worried? And he says, his dream or his destiny, which again, what I just explained, destiny, which again could be predetermined, it's more conscious. So for Luffy's dream to become a free pirate, how Whoopslap positions it is almost as if he knows about Luffy's lineage, right? Where it's like, okay, his dream is to become the freest pirate in the world, right? But is his dream or his destiny based on who he is? He's Monkey D. Luffy. For Whoopslap, if that means something based on his grandfather, his father, the person who he looks up to with Shanks, all of this feels like he was destined to do this. He was not meant to be a regular kid. There's no way he would ever be a regular kid. His dad is too important. His grandfather is too important. The hero he looks up to is too influential. Luffy's destiny was somewhat carved out for him when he was first born. He's a D-clan member, right? So off of that alone already has some form of destiny carved within your name. Of course, we don't know what the D means, but you know, we can surmise it can mean so many different things. People are starting to say it means drums, right? But what I want you guys to focus on here is not just dreams, it's not just destiny, it's not just fate. Click the subscribe button, and I want you guys to focus on that and click it, right? Because this is your fate, this is your destiny. All your choices led up to this specific point, conscious decisions. This was your destiny, and it was to subscribe to this channel, so do that right now. But continuing though, that's a very peculiar conversation because people hate the conversation about fate and destiny and predetermined outcomes, which fate is controlled by the cosmos. For destiny, conscious decisions affect the outcome. So again, going back to Joyboy, the conversation is now revolving around the real Joyboy. Did we have multiple Joyboy candidates, which is something we can talk about in a separate video, which is more focused on that, because I think that's a very interesting conversation, right? True Joyboy candidates. Who are these characters? Who are these people that we felt like had an opportunity to be Joyboy? Maybe it was their destiny to be Joyboy, their fate, but because of conscious decisions, they were either deterred or they failed. Okay, Blackbeard comes to mind, Zebek, of course, Luffy, Roger, and the obvious other Joyboy, which I don't think obviously is his real name. I think that's a name that's bestowed upon you because of the characteristics that you have. That's why Joyboy is so interesting, because Whitebeard knew Blackbeard was not the person Roger was waiting for. But I digress. Based on all that shit, I think it's clear that Luffy was destined to do these things, but Luffy would not have achieved these things if he did not make these decisions to do so. Now, Toki does play a part, right? And I think there's a prophecy involved somewhere, but I think there was a prophecy involved with the previous Joyboy in Fishman Island, but he chose not to do his thing, and he wrote a letter, right, and set things in motion so these things can be accomplished. But there's something involved with a prophecy that influences all these decisions. I don't think it's just fate. And again, Oda will tackle these things. I am very confident he has a good idea of how he wants to address it, because chapter 96 shows that he's cognizant of how this could be misaligned, right, destiny or dream, but he'll tackle it when it's time. Now, for Luffy and his awakening, because that's a part of this, how is he connected to Joyboy? How is he connected to Zunisha? I think it's clearly, in my opinion, the devil fruit, okay? The devil fruit and just the timing of everything. We're not sure exactly why this happened just now. Death does complete a person, according to Kaido, but it couldn't have been just death. Okay, it had to have been timing, Zunisha being in Wano, maybe Luffy having to be in Wano for this to happen. Getting to a certain point with his devil fruit. guys, it was always clear that Luffy was Joyboy because the characteristics matched up with what just the name Joyboy, boy of joy. But also, Luffy has manifested in some ways his future. I 100% fully expect to get an explanation before the arc ends, as we all do. I'm not worried of the outcome. I know some people is like, I'm scared this could be really bad. I'm not worried at all. I think it's gonna make a lot of sense. However Oda decides to describe this, but one thing is clear: Joyboy is here. What I'm interested in though is the Straw Hat's reactions, their answers, and that may be something I talk about this week. Like, what do each Straw Hat react to Luffy being Joyboy? How does it impact every Straw Hat based on Luffy being Joyboy? Of course, the most important answer that I would like is Nico Robin. What does she do? What does she say? I expect something from her that we've never heard her say before, because that's just how the story goes. Robin reveals things as it's relevant, but that's one that I really want to know, man. What does Robin say? How does she feel about all this? And then guys, we cannot forget about Caribou. Caribou's in the midst of all this, okay? Because he knows about this stuff. So what does Caribou do? How does Caribou play a role? Because he's not just there for no reason. How does Caribou impact this decision, or Luffy just being Joyboy? How? Guys, it's been a long weekend. Having conversations with people has helped. That's why I'm like, yo, I just gotta talk to you guys and get stuff off my mind. Joyboy has taken over my life. It's kind of weird, to be honest with you, but it's impacted me, man. I'm like, I can't stop thinking about it. I'm writing about it. I'm going back. I'm reading so many different arcs, so many different chapters. Again, I plan on having a more focused video on Destiny and Luffy or whatever, but that's extensive. That's so much. When we think about that, it's not just about this arc. It's about Sabaody. It's about Skypiea. It's about Impel Down. It's about Marineford, right? It's about Ace as well, right? Ace does play a factor here. I know people don't think about Ace, but Ace does play a factor here. But yeah, I don't know, bro. I'm just as stumped as you all. I'm just hype. I'm just really fucking hype. All right. But yeah, what are your thoughts? What do you expect from the upcoming chapter? How has your opinion changed from when you first read the chapter to now? Because I'm sure you've indulged in so much different content. I think before, when I first read the chapter, I was super excited, right? But then after a while, it's like, okay, maybe I should calm down because this could be bad. Then I thought about it. I was like, this is fucking One Piece, right? There are things that are executed in a way that I don't like in One Piece, but for the most part, it's about trusting in the person that you've believed in for so long. And like, I feel good about this. I feel really good about this one. There's no way that Luffy's being taken over by Joyboy. Like, Luffy's still important to the story, his personality. But what if Joyboy and Luffy's personality is the same? People have mentioned the Yami Yugi thing. Like, no, right? There's no way. People talked about Yu Yu Hakusho and what happened there with Ryzen. I don't know, man. God, I need more One Piece in my life. But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about it? You can give me your predictions, your thoughts. Guys, also as well, I'm doing a Q&A, right? Not Q&A, but technically a Q&A. I'm going to read the best Luffy theories from this past chapter, right? Typically, I read the comments. I'm gonna go through a bunch of comments and then I'll present them to you guys later this week before the chapter comes out. Of course, not being abreast of spoilers, because we're gonna avoid those like the plague. And I suggest you do the same. And anybody that you subscribe to that do spoilers, mute them this week. This is not one that you want to be spoiled on. You don't want to get any insight. You want to go into it blind and enjoy yourself. Okay, enjoy yourself. All right, anyway, guys, give me thoughts. Make sure you like the video. If you did, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys all so much. Again, guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost.